All right. Hello, hello. Happy Tuesday. My gosh, I didn't even know what day it is. Let's see who is in here. Thanks for jumping in. We'll give everybody a minute or so to pop in here. Hi, Kathy. Georgia is here. Vicky. Vicky, buonasera. How's it going there, Vicky? Melissa is here. Hello. I see all my anxious writers popping in here. Annie is here. Judy. Hey, Judy. Awesome. Got a good crew rolling in here. Yay. Stacy's in the house. Cool. All right. Well, let's see. All right. I am going to take a moment now to really give a welcome to my special guest today, Jodi Monster. And we met at one of my little sanctuaries where I go hide out and gain energy and pick up light codes and you name it. And it was just absolutely, we both agreed it was divine timing because we were literally at the end of a dirt road and near a beach and a lagoon on the tip of the Baja Peninsula. So it can't get more remote than that. And so let's give Jodi a very warm love train welcome.
Well, hi, everybody.
So, Jodi, I'm going to let you explain. She's a creative writing instructor. I would much rather you know you better than I do. So, can you tell them a little bit about what you do, and then a little bit about what we're talking about today?
Yes, absolutely. So, as Patty said, it was a sheer coincidence that we met, if you happen to believe in coincidence, or it was, synchronicity, something that was absolutely meant to happen. We were just sitting down and started talking, and I think we probably talked for about 3 whole hours before we finally um, realized maybe we should go back to whatever it was that we were doing before we started talking. But I am a creative writing instructor. A number of years ago, I went back to school, got a master's of fine arts in fiction, and always had as one of my goals for doing that, um, or teaching was always one of my goals for doing that, and specifically teaching at the college level, which I've been doing for about 4 or 5 years. But long before I went back to graduate school and got this degree, I was an avid participant in community writing groups. And it was always another one of my dreams, a passion project to start a community writing group after I felt like, I had some teaching under my belt and could really do it well. So I've been doing this community writing group for a number of years. And this is where Patty and I really started to bond because what I said to her was, I initially thought I'd be offering all this craft instruction, nuts and bolts for how do you really tell a story? What does good writing look like? And what I came to realize is my students very much appreciate that instruction, but what they're really doing is telling their stories in a way that is so healing. Um, the group that has come together and coalesced is a beautiful group, people, all shapes, sizes, varying degrees of experience with writing, but all of them with a lot of experience in being alive. And it's just become one of my very favorite things to do is to run this group. So Patty and I got started talking, and she immediately saw that there were members of her community who might really love something along these lines as well. So that's how it has come to be that I'm joining you today.
I love it. And you guys know how things line up around here. And so, of course, we're in the Lionsgate portal, as you guys know. And I was telling Jody this earlier today when we had a chat that one of the things that's coming forward that's being reinforced in all of us energetically is bringing forward that inner child who's has courage now, is not coming from fear, right? It's before any fear was introduced, and self-expression. And so as I was talking to Jody about this, and I said, this is like such really perfect timing because many of you are in this step of now self-expression, right? And so Jody graciously put together a workshop that is going to meet you guys as a community where you're at. And so it's not the traditional one. Of course, she has her techniques for bringing that out and how you tell your story. And you guys know by now, each of you has a unique frequency. And I want everyone to consider doing this, even if you think you're not a writer, because it's a lie you were told. Writing is a form of self-expression. And even if you're using it to express yourself in your journal or to create how are you creating your reality? Right. And then you can use it to honor your journey, right? Honor your journey. You went through a lot to get here. And so you can use that piece to honor the path that got you here, and then say, okay, now I can really literally complete that chapter. That timeline's completed. You can write about your completed timelines, how you survived it. I signed in and rode this wild thing called the love train, right? And then moving into today, which is where, what do you want to create? And I'll tell you, Jody is just a natural at guiding the creative process and really knows how to draw that from the heart space. I could instantly, as soon as, I was presenting, basically telling her about you guys and how you guys roll energetically and what you would be looking for. And there was just, it was like puzzle pieces just all came together. So
Well,
that's,
right.
yeah.
Oh, and thank you for that. That is, I mean, really thank you for that. It's lovely to hear that reflected back. And so I'll just say a little bit more. There's this sort of discipline that's called, not sort of discipline, a discipline that's called narrative healing. And the idea is that just simply by telling your story, whether you're telling it aloud or whether you're writing it, whether you're sharing it just with yourself or with a community, a supportive community, or one or two supportive others, that by itself can either be healing in and of itself or initiate a healing journey. But what I understand from Patty is that you all have been on your healing journeys for some time now. And so the next step maybe is to say, okay, from this, whether it's a healed place or a place of much more clarity and insight and love, now it's time to take whatever it is that has been your story thus far on this planet and transform it into something beautiful, right? Transform it into something that's full of light, full of the unconditional love that you've come to know and understand and experience. And so that's the next step along this road of using storytelling and narrative to really now let your light shine,
Yeah.
right? In a creative way.
100%. And I'll tell you energetically what happens when you do that. And those of you who have had private sessions with me know I have you write the forgiveness process. And what happens, what she just described, energetically, you're taking dense energy out of your body. The
Mm.
moment you do that, you're going, okay, I'm taking this out of my body, I'm putting it on the paper, and you're releasing it. And
Mhm.
then, right, the universe loves a void. And then you're going to come in with some inspiration and some guidance, right, to be able to, what's my unique frequency, Remember, you're not here to compare yourself to other writers. We're not in a competition. We're not in a comparison. We are here to express each of our unique frequencies, right? And so this is a beautiful way to do that. And that's what I'm saying is that don't just look at this in terms of, oh, I want to monetize my writing, right? Because that's third dimension. Instead, what would you love about this process? And I can ask Jodi to share things that she's witnessed of. And mind you, she's right. So she's been teaching, right, souls of all levels, right, in other all levels of consciousness, including maybe some who are not awakened yet. But she's still witnessing, right, because the energy, they're going from their heart to paper,
Mhm.
right? And so that's them tapping into their higher consciousness, even if they're not aware of it.
And something too happens when the community is right. And that is a level of courage or bravery, right? And Patty and I were talking earlier today about, before we came to feel any type of fear, before we came to any level of self-consciousness, right? Who who were we or who might we have been when we came? And that's a very beautiful thing to begin to get back in touch with, or a very beautiful energy to get back in touch with. The spirit that we came with and came really truly to express in the world. What I see in a lot of my classrooms, whether I'm with college students or whether I'm with community groups, um, of people who just come to my class at this local bookstore where I offer it, is courage really starting to build. Sometimes if people haven't told their stories, the idea of doing it is just overwhelming. And yet, in the right community, when that story emerges, um, Patty used different words for this, but it's like a 1,000-pound weight being lifted off of people's shoulders. And that's the kind of stuff that or those dynamics. I can see those dynamics happening in my classrooms, and it brings me so much joy. And when other people see their classmates lightening up a little bit, then that's just all the more encouragement along the road of, okay, well, maybe I lighten up then too a little bit.
Yeah.
And I don't experience so much fear or hesitation, or this is a very big and loaded word, maybe shame about saying whatever it is, or writing about or talking about whatever it is I want to write and talk about.
Yeah, absolutely. And I call it letting go of the backpack with the rocks in it.
Hmm.
And most of the time it's not even your rocks.
Hmm.
You took it on either environmentally or through, a blessed family member, unknowingly handed it off to you, and then you started carrying it until all of a sudden you went, wait a minute, this doesn't feel good. I'm ready to ditch this. And
Hmm.
yeah, and it's again the timeliness of this. You know, when I tell you guys, right, go messy and just start. I wasn't even, I think Jodi and I were maybe an hour into our conversation, and I looked at her and I said, oh my gosh, you've got to come on my YouTube channel and talk about this. We're gonna do this together. And I immediately sent a post and said, is anybody interested in writing? And I knew in that moment that how we came together, how we met so quickly, and it was in so much alignment, and that it would be a tool that would be so beautiful for everybody in this community. And I just threw the post up there, and you guys started chiming in, going, yes, 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 yes. And then I reached out to her and said, when are you free? And now look, she was just talking about courage. One of the things my guides brought through that we will be talking about on Lionsgate is courage coming from the inner child is one of the specific energies in all souls on earth that is going to be enhanced. during Lionsgate Portal because we lost our courage. We forgot, and most of us lost the courage in childhood, and so it's exactly. Do you see how the synchronicities? She didn't know. Oh my! I mean, my language, by the way, Jody's all over there because I let it roll. I've got some sayings like if it feels like poo, it's not true. I go, and so I just let it rock authentically as I see it or as I feel it. And so, you know, they're just the way this lined up, right? And notice I didn't sit and say, I need to go find a creative writing teacher for the group. I know we've got writers, right? I know who's in the group. And so, and she came to me, we walked into each other quite literally in the most like
Quite
remote,
literally.
right? In the most remote place possible. And so when that is how things line up. I was enjoying a day at the pool, so was she, and bless her husband. He heard us after he heard us get going. He was like, I'm going to go read my book. I'll leave you.
Took off, right? He took off.
He was like, we instantly went into the cosmos and he was like, I'm going to go read my book. So, but I mean, this is how pieces come together. And then now she has this offering for everybody for self-expression is huge. I got a download recently from my guides about this, and it was they're like whenever, so when my scalp tingles, Jody, it's like them going, say it. So I had a client that was asking about her body image, and she said, no matter what I do, I feel like during ascension, my body feels like it's just holding on to everything, holding on to, I feel like I'm, expanding out of control. And the guidance was that it has to do with worthiness and self-expression. That when self-expression gets halted, we stuff that in the body as energy. And as you start to do any form of if it's painting, if it's drawing, if it's coloring, if it's gardening, if it's cooking, if it's writing, you are now beginning to self-express without boundaries from your heart as that courageous inner child. And that shifts you to the timeline where your body already knows its wellness and can it shifts on its own. And so there's like a high level energetic thing here that happens. And I'll tell you that one of the first ways that I was able to connect to my guidance was through writing. And not like in any formal way. I would get up and have these ideas coming in, and I'm like, where is this coming from? And sometimes and I'm sure you've witnessed this as a teacher, stuff are coming, and then it kept coming, and I was like, where's that coming from? Right? Because I'm like, my human doesn't know about this stuff, but I kept writing and writing and writing. And then later I came to know that that's called automatic writing. And for many, it's the first step in them getting downloads. And so you could use this as a tool. This could be a stepping stone for you to ignite automatic writing if that's in you.
Yeah.
And yeah.
And that's really magical when that happens, we start, right? We pick up paper, we pick up pen, but when all of a sudden the words start coming almost faster than you can write them, when your handwriting becomes almost illegible, if you're on a keyboard, when your fingers just can't keep pace with the way that your thoughts are unleashing themselves, that's a really, really beautiful process. And something else that Patty and I talked about, and I do see this with some of my adult students in particular, your inner child didn't need any permission to write, to paint, to sing, to play, to skip around. That's what children do, and they assume permission, and we get taught that we need to ask for it. But our culture too is such that if you told somebody that you enrolled in a tennis clinic and you're on your way to get a racket and some sneakers, nobody would bat an eye. But it is, just sort of a real thing to say people sometimes feel like a little squirrely. Like, what do you mean? Like, is this a valid thing to do, sitting home writing in the middle of the day? Well, of course it's a valid thing to do, and you don't need any permission to do it. You just need to feel as if it's something that you would want to do. Um, but we get caught up,
Yeah.
right? We get caught up and we get to second guessing. And when we can, because we have mentors and community and others who are like-minded, when we can stop that line of thinking and just let ourselves be free to engage in whatever expressive discipline calls to us, we're in the realm of something that could potentially be just so incredibly fruitful, or at a minimum, just so incredibly beautiful. And again, light filled, love
Yeah.
filled,
Yes.
right?
Yes.
And love for what we're going to find in ourselves, right? More than anything.
Yeah, it's so in alignment. So one of our community members, Stacy, just posted this. She says, "I've always done this as a method of purging and healing, just because it felt so good to get it out of my body. And for me, it was the easiest and most thorough way to be heard."
There we go. Right, there we go. Right? Yeah,
So true.
it's a wonderful, yeah, a wonderful, in that case, just wonderful catharsis, right? Something happened and now we can set it aside and move on to whatever next thing
Yeah.
is going to
And
be on our path.
I love this. And to add to this community, like these guys are just honestly the best. Absolutely. This community is so loving and so supportive, and they know what happens. Like, so that for those of you who participate in focus group, right? There's a magic in there. There's a magic. It's so loving, so supportive. We've been watching people grow and evolve. And so this is that same container is going to be created by Jodi
Mhm.
for, and then she's going to guide you into how to express with that pen, with pen and paper, and or the keyboard if you choose. We know that there's energy in this, and I recommend you start with this. If you have to, then, even if you do speak to text and then load it in that way, there is an energy when you express it from within. It's coming from your heart. It goes through it. Literally, there's energy in your pen. There's energy in, right? Everything's energy focused into form. And so you really do, it just gives you, it anchors the expression that you're wanting to come out. And so I'm excited to see what comes, of this, and
There's
right?
I'm really excited. And there's also energy in the mirroring, right? Sometimes people don't realize what they have until maybe they share it in a community and somebody mirrors back, wow, and there's a lot of energy in that mirroring too, that I find in my classrooms is I keep using this word, beauty. It's just a very beautiful thing to watch, to see people honoring what others are contributing, and also, evolving as a result of having heard it.
Yeah, I love that. So well said. So well said. And I think in this group, Jodi, be forewarned, you may see telepathy happening, because well, yeah, I mean, it's so cool. We have it happen all the time, and it's which would be just such a fun thing to witness, right? And yeah, I echo that. Are you up for some questions?
I am absolutely up for
Uh,
questions.
Awesome, awesome. So guys, if there is anything, if you have written or you've not written, or if you have any questions for Jodi, go ahead and drop it in the chat, and I'm also going to share all the information about the workshop. It's also in the video description. I threw it in there before we went live just so that it was handy for anybody that is saying that that resonates with me 100%. Um, let's see. Alyssa says automatic writing helped my ability to channel pen and paper 100. Yes.
Mhm.
Yes. With automatic writing, you definitely do. And I know sometimes I'll get downloads and I'll get images or an essence, and then I can interpret it, right? My guides give it to me. But then there's other things that come in, and I'll literally hear, write this. Right.
Mhm.
And then when I know that means, okay, pen, paper, ready, go. And you know what? One morning, Jody, it was at 3:30 a.m. and it went for 4 hours.
Right.
And I was like,
Right.
I was,
That can happen, right? That can happen. Mm.
yep.
Mhm.
So I'm anxious to see. All right. So if nobody, I'll see if anybody has any questions. I'm going to put up, but really quickly, I will put up a slide here, or it's like, you know me. I went into Canva. Me and my Canva, it's my best friend. Canva's my best creative friend. Here we go.
Canvas great.
Um,
Mm.
and oops. And again, this is in, whoops. Let me see if I can, hang on, I'll pin, and then, there we go. Let me move. I call this moving the melon out of the way. There we go. Okay. So, the workshop and this is, Jodi curated this for you guys and made it a very friendly and generous energy exchange as well. So thank you, Jodi, for being so open to doing this. You can see she's calling it Opening Your Heart to the Wise Voice Within. So it's on Friday, August 15th, 12 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Okay, so notice the Eastern Standard Time. And then you can register. She's got her PayPal link in there. The energy exchange is $65 for this. It's going to be a 2-hour class for anybody that is interested. All of this too is in the video description, and as well as Jodi's email. If you have any questions, you want to correspond with her in advance, by all means, go ahead and do so. And I'll
Yes,
just,
please reach out with any questions. And you all sound, from everything Pat has told me, you all sound like very beautiful souls. And I'd love to meet you. I'd love to work with you and see, what we can create as a community, because that's something too that I really find. I am, of course, there. I bring experience and what I've learned, but everybody else contributes so generously as well that the communities are really co-created, right? They're really, really co-created. And that by itself is a very particular way of being, and one that I wish we encountered more often and in more spheres of our life, co-created communities where everybody's energy and everybody's contributions are, in the stew, in the gumbo, valued, and go to making something what it turns out to be, right?
yeah.
There isn't a there isn't a if we do this, we're going to get, if we do this, it's going to be a smashing success. And if we don't do this, it's going to be a mess. No, we're going to make something together, and
Right.
all going to be good, right? As long as we're all making it together.
Yeah, absolutely. And so we have, let's see, Jeff is asking, he says, you're a very eloquent speaker. So he led with that and he said, does the writing process, or I'll say, can the writing process help you in expressing your thoughts in public?
I think it very much can. I think it very much can. I think getting your thoughts out, whether it's on paper or whether it's in a small group first, will always help you be more agile on your feet. Thought and evolution, these are processes, right? It's not I find this very much with my college students. Some of them very much have the idea, I wrote it, I turned it in, I'm done. That's not what writing
Right.
is. Writing is very much a process, and at its highest level, even for, really seasoned professionals, it's a process of discovery, right?
Yeah.
So if you've been through the process of discovery, you are naturally going to be more agile when it comes to talking with other people about what it is you have discovered, right?
Yep, absolutely. And then Jeff, so if you want a little from the from those that love to chime in, they're saying that immediately when I read the question, I heard yes, because a safety. You will gain safety in doing this exercise. You'll feel
That
safe
too.
to express yourself. And beginning by expressing yourself in writing will give you it'll be seamless for you because you're going to recognize that how good it feels to express what's in your heart. And of course they brought in other people's opinion of us are none of our energetic business. And so it's more important to broadcast you authentically. It's
Mhm.
more important and that's what she's going to help you to curate. Judy asked any other payment method. So Judy, I think PayPal now you can even do, if you click on a link for PayPal, if that doesn't work, why don't you email Jodi directly and then she
If
can
you
see.
email me, we can also, I also have Venmo, PayPal,
Yep.
in the world outside of all of this,
Yes,
PayPal is very
exactly.
functional, but I also have Venmo. So yes, please just email
Yeah,
me.
yeah, just email Jodi and I'm sure she can work it out for you. Is it going to be on a Zoom? Yeah.
Oh, yes, absolutely. We'll meet on Zoom because everybody, as I understand it, you are all over the place, right? Yeah. I mean,
They are.
literally all over the place, right?
Like right now, we've got somebody from Italy, we've got Colorado in the house, we've got Illinois in the house. Like, yes, Europe, other European countries. So yeah, definitely an international love train.
Right. So
Um,
Zoom is our friend. Hmm.
Beautiful. Alyssa says, looks like an amazing opportunity. Thank you, Patty and Jody. You are welcome. Okay, let's see. Oh, I love this question. She says, I may have missed this in the beginning. I don't think we covered this. She said, how do you help a very analytical mind step aside to allow automatic writing to come through?
So this is a really, really interesting question. And I have actually worked with a student of mine through this. I work with prompts, I offer prompts, and with my adult students, I always offer a prompt and then reserve a little time for optional sharing. I had one woman who was absolutely paralyzed in the face of a prompt. Just to tell you, this is an extraordinarily intelligent woman. She has a PhD in theology from Harvard, extraordinarily intelligent woman, but I think also running a bit too, toward perfectionism.
Yep,
And
she was
I
making what I call noodle soup. Sorry to interrupt you, but she was making
right.
noodle, and when you make noodle soup, you're as far from the heart as you can get.
She was just paralyzed. The idea of writing something that wouldn't sound flawless to her own very high standard. Even though I'd only offered 7 or 8 minutes to do it, she just would sit there and just couldn't even put the first word down. And so I watched this happen a couple evenings in a row. And I finally said to her, let's put that perfectionist away and start. Don't even think before the words are even out of my mouth. Just start writing without even thinking about it. And if that doesn't work for you, what I want you to do, she has a cat who she's very attached to, and this cat actually has been incredibly important in her life. I said, and if that doesn't work, what I want you to do is either pretend you're writing to Tobias, that's the name of
I
the,
love it.
or pretend that you are Tobias and Tobias is doing the writing. But some way, somehow, I want to get you out of that trap that your very high standard brain has put you in. And it worked.
I love it. Yeah, because you put her in her heart. You're like, she loves the cat more than anything. So now you knew that by her going to the cat as a starting point
Mhm.
would put her in the heart. And that's where the authenticity comes in. And then there's another one that kind of leads right into that question. Um, let's see. Oh, the chat is sailing on me here. Hang on. Oh, okay. So Oksana, let me know if does that make sense? And so another piece of that too is what we were talking about earlier with community, is that and this Vicky will add to yours. Vicky wrote, "Do you write a story together?" I'm sure that there would be an option if something naturally started, but more so, Vicky, it's kind of like what happens energetically in focus group, where anybody that's drawn to writing or feels like, oh, I think I would enjoy this, like attracts like. And so you're all in that level of consciousness together and you magnify your energy, and that creates that inspiration and the courage for you to be able to put your story to paper. And, our energy, our emotions and our thoughts are contagious. And we're so used to the not nasty stuff being contagious, the fear. But when you join together in a loving atmosphere, and then with like-minded souls with similar inspiration, that creates its own co-creation energetic bubble for
Mhm.
you to be able to self-express. So, now, did I miss anything in there, Jody, that you want to add?
No, no, I think that's really right. I've never, I mean, as you know, sometimes to break it up with my college students, I have put them in small groups and asked them to write a story together. But that's not really, I don't think what this question is particularly addressing. So, no, I don't think we would be, sitting down to write a story with a beginning, middle, end together. But I do think, as Patty said, that being with other people who are engaged in some form of creative expression and engaged in some form of discovery, there'll be a lot of cross-fertilization happening there and co-creation happening there.
Yeah, I love that. And inspiration. Let's see. Care says, I write well with prompts and I'd like to have it be more spontaneous.
Well, so that's really interesting too, because I always offer a prompt. I also always offer all of my students, either my adult or both my adults and my college students, I always say to them, and if this prompt doesn't suit, write what best serves your creative names right now, tonight, or today. So that is always an option for anybody that, I am in a group with. But in terms of, just generating spontaneous writing, um, no better place than
Yeah.
that pen and that paper and a chair, and maybe close your eyes for a few minutes, take a few deep breaths, and see if you can hear anything.
Yeah.
Now, as
I'm,
Patty was saying, see if you hear anything
yeah.
that's desperate to want to come out. But that idea to, we're scared of that too, right? We're scared of silence. We're scared of that void, but there's no reason to be. Pen, paper, closed eyes, a few deep breaths, something's
Yeah.
going to come to you.
Yep. And I'm totally totally cheating. The guides are coming in. Care question. They're asking, are you creating your own prompts? Are you creating your own prompts? I'm just curious.
Mhm.
Because it is very different because we know where our own prompts will come from, don't we? So it could be, this could be a very different experience, but let me know in the chat what your process is. This is so great. Thank you so much, Jodi. This is fun.
It's a
I'm
little
learning
bit
so
too.
much. Yeah.
That question makes me think it's a little bit too of guided meditations. If any of you have ever been in a situation where someone offers you a guided meditation, even maybe 2 or 3 minutes at the end of a yoga class, I've never, ever been successful at a guided meditation. My brain goes where it wants to go, or my heart goes where it wants to go. But I do think there's something about being in the room where it's happening and being offered, that gives me, again, this word permission to just go wherever it is I'm going. But I just have never been able to follow the words that have been offered, right?
Wow.
Which doesn't mean I haven't had a great meditation. I've just not
Yeah.
done exactly what the instructions
Yeah,
were.
that's my school. It's like make it your, make it your own. And
Mhm.
yeah, that's all part of the process, right? Um, Let me see. Alyssa's asking if the workshop will be recorded.
We can. Yeah,
Okay, you guys,
we absolutely can. That's super easy on Zoom.
awesome, awesome. So good. Awesome. Well, thank you, you guys, for jumping in here. Again, the workshop is called Opening Your Heart to the Wise Voice Within. You guys know what that means. Friday, August 15th, 12 to 2 Eastern Standard Time. Please note the time zone for those of you who are in other, time zones outside of the US. And let's see, and then Jodi's email, if you need to reach her, is in there. The energy exchange for the 2-hour class is $65. And Jodi created this very specifically for you guys. So
Mhm.
this is a love train offering that she so generously offered up here. And I know that this there we will be, Jodi and I were already talking about having ideas of, even co-creating a retreat together too, because it just feels like such a natural path to follow. Thank you. Jodi, is there anything else you want to add
No,
before
I'll
we?
just say again, thank you. Thank you so much, Patty, for inviting me to your group. It was really fun to spend this time with you. And I really do hope to see some of you in a workshop in a couple weeks. If you have friends or like-minded people that you know who weren't here today, pass the word along. But I'd be, really, really thrilled to see you in Zoom in a couple weeks. It would be delightful. And yeah, just thank you. Thank you for your time. And really thank you, Patty, for the invitation.
Oh, it was, it was just a must do. It was a no-brainer for me. So thank you again. And you're getting tons of thank yous in the chat here. Um, and again, if also, so this is going to stay up. So if you missed the live, please go to the description for the information. If you're tech challenge, don't worry, you guys know you can email me and I'll send you all the information. So some may have missed the live. You do not have to be in the live to be able to participate in it. You'll be able to watch this whole recording. It'll stay up like everything does. So thank you again, Jodi, and thank you guys. Thanks for everybody for coming in and contributing and asking such great questions. I learned so much about this process. So, and we'll see you guys soon. And Jodi, I know we're going to connect soon. Girl, you got to come back to Cabo.
Let's hope. Fingers crossed.